When somebody says America, I immediately think of this.
It turns out the nude beach sign at Loyola Beach is fake.
There's big fat guys laying there like this. No, I don't want to see that kind of stuff.
Even though it's freedom of whatever, not that kind of freedom.
The board of the Tallahassee Classical School pressured Principal Hope Carrasquilla to resign last week after an image of the David was shown to a 6th grade art class.
There was no warning for us to know what we were gonna experience.
But maybe I was wrong. You see, I'm in this neighborhood just south of Orlando and I can just do this. Okay, maybe I'm not telling you the whole truth. You see, this is not your average neighborhood. This is Cypress Cove, probably the most famous nudist resort in all of the Americas. We are Nick and Linz. For the last 5 years, we have been traveling to some of the most amazing naturist places on the planet. And now we embarked on an epic journey to experience naturism in every continent of the world. Subscribe and travel along with us. Right now, we are in Florida.
These are not really coffee cups, but I guess that we will have to do with what we have. This came with the van, and it's a bit ridiculous to buy cups for just a couple of weeks. We're having quite a lot of first times these days. It's the first time at Cypress Cove, it's the first time in Florida, it's the first time camping in the United States, and it's the first time in this van. In case you missed our last video, we rented this van in Orlando, and at first we had absolutely no idea what we were doing.
I'm gonna be very honest with you, I have absolutely no idea how to do this.
But now we're starting to get a hang of it. The buttons are making a lot more sense already. We haven't really cooked here yet, but we already made coffee, so we know how to make a fire, which is like basics of living. And to let you into a little secret, the reason why we rented this van is not just to travel around Florida. It's also because we are kind of considering of maybe buying a van in the future. So we want to test a little bit. We already tested 2 vans in Spain last year. So this is the 3rd van we are trying out, and it's by far the best we already had. And we're learning a lot about what we like and what we don't like. For example, there is this small step, and we both already kicked it 10 times or so. I think we have broken toes already. So that's something we don't want. Also the bathroom, we haven't used it yet. Of course, we're on a campsite, there's open showers here. It's a naturist place, so yeah, maybe if we would go wild camping, we might use it. But for now, it's totally unusable. And also our bed, it's compact, but it does the trick. It's just large enough for me, and I'm quite tall, so that works. But of course, in the next few days, I'm sure that we will learn a lot more. We haven't used our sitting area yet either. That's mostly because of the weather. It's really hot here in Florida, so there has been no reason to sit inside. But back to coffee. And actually, this is not the first time that we are waking up today.
Cypress Cove is a very popular resort and tends to get super busy. So we quickly realized that if we wanted good shots of the communal areas, we would have to get up at sunrise. In the golden glow of the morning sun, it wasn't hard to see why nudists from around the world like to visit Cypress Cove. This place is beautiful, but we imagine that there must be more to it than just the inviting bar, the swimming pool or the lake. Our goal for these days would be to figure out the magic of the cove, and we got some help for this.
This is Martin, probably our #1 resource about naturism and nudism in Florida, and of course the perfect person to tell us more about Cypress Cove. What makes Cypress Cove so special?
Part of it is its size. It's very big. It's, I think a couple of 100 acres, 160, 200 acres. So it's very big. It is also very, very well built up, thoughtfully. It's not like someone came in here and slapped it all together, but it has grown organically to represent the needs and interests of the people who have been coming here for decades to use it.
To give you a bit of an idea of what the resort looks like, we'll show you on this map. Basically, you can divide the resort in two areas. This area is the whole accommodation area, campsite, residentials, and then this area is the recreation area. This is where all the facilities are, all the amenities are. Then they can both be separated again. Here the residential area, this part is campsite, and here is the motel. It looks really nice. And when we look at the recreation area, this part is where we're early this morning. It's the most busy part. There's music going on, there's DJs at the moment. And this part, that's the more quiet part. That's where the lake is and where some of the sports facilities are. And that's where people mostly go to relax.
When we arrived at Cypress Cove, we were not that impressed, to be honest. And the reason for that is very simple, because you arrive at the campsite and I mean, it was very overwhelming seeing all these big camper vans. I mean, I will show you. This is us. This is our van. This is our neighbor. Our van, our neighbor. This is like a mini version that comes out of our neighbor's van. And the big ones are not the exception here. We are the exception.
Some of you told us before that we shouldn't compare places, especially not in different continents. But for us, Europe is our reference. It's where we discovered naturism and where we've been to the most places. And Cypress Cove, it's quite similar to European resorts, but then on the other hand, it's also very different. And it's in so many aspects. One of them is the animals here. For example, there are some huge birds. There are the storks, there are cranes.
And there are alligators. There is a sign at the lake saying, please don't feed the alligators. And when we first saw it, we thought it was a joke. And then a couple of minutes later, there it was, poop, poop, with his head out of the water. Crazy.
And then we also learned, we haven't seen them, but we learned about another animal, and they are called no-see-ums.
We haven't seen them, but I felt them. Oh.
We didn't get the joke either, but it's no-see-ums. There are little bugs here, and they bite you during the day, but you only start feeling it in the evening.
And trust me, I feel them.
Other than the huge vans and RVs, also the mobile homes are impressive. I think some of them are bigger than any house we ever lived in. They're huge.
Yeah.
And another big difference that we see with other places in the world is the transportation that people use. Everybody drives around in golf carts, and that is very fun. That's very strange for us.
Funny. Yeah.
And like, for example, our neighbor is a really nice guy, and he offered us on the first time, he said, I noticed that you don't have a golf cart, so if you want to go somewhere, I can take you there. I can give you a ride to another place inside the resort.
And what's super funny is everybody is driving around in these golf carts. And there is also a golf court, but we've never seen anybody playing golf.
And if we look at the lake, there are some very big boats over there. And it's a big lake as well, but it's not like a huge lake. So in Europe, we would also, I don't think that we would see that. There would also be kayaks and paddle boards. But big boats like that, there's almost yachts that they have here.
Yeah, it's also called a yacht cliff.
But what really blew my mind was that the other day I saw an Amazon truck pass by, and I'm not joking. Inside the resort, in one of the resort roads, there was an Amazon truck delivering stuff right at people's trailer.
And not only the Amazon truck, also the mailman.
Yeah,
we also saw the mailman.
We saw the mailman.
Yeah.
And this morning there was a big bus where you could donate blood.
Yeah.
They just come to the resort, and this amazed me in a very good way, because we get sometimes the impression that Americans are a lot more prude than Europeans, and that naturism is so much more open in Europe.
One doesn't naturally associate nudism or comfortable nudism with American life, but this place seems to put it together very well.
Cypress Cove proves the complete opposite. Like Amazon trucks and naturist resorts, you don't see that in Europe at all, not even in the big commercial resorts.
No, they just open the doors for public, I would say. It's just that they show we have nothing to hide.
Cypress Cove could just well be just a neighborhood in Kissimmee, which is the town here. It could be just another neighborhood like any of the other neighborhoods, just like with the difference that people are naked here. And of course there is security at the gate, but other than that, this is a neighborhood, and this is something I very much like. All in all, after just a couple of days, we already noticed that some of our ideas that we had about the United States are already confirmed. But then again, other things are completely different, and this makes us realize how little we actually know about USA and about Florida. We started this road trip in America's most famous nudist resort, but Florida has a lot more to offer. In fact, it is often called the nudist capital of the United States.
Is it?
Why is Florida the nudist capital in the US? What makes it the nudist capital?
Well, I mean, the obvious answer is we have the weather for it, right? We have incredible weather year-round, especially in South Florida. We have beaches, we have a lot of other resources, we have springs, we have so many resorts.
If you're also curious about what else we will find in Florida and whether or not we will survive in our van,
you know what to do. Subscribe to our channel, put on your notifications, and if you like this video, please give us a big thumbs up, and we just see you next week. Bye.
bye-bye.
Okay, maybe I'm not telling you the whole truth. The most famous naturist nudist resort.
We're having quite a lot of first times in. So this is the third van we're trying out, and it's by far the best we already had. And it's not only the most famous resort, we already noticed that some of us are
The guy who offered us a ride on the golf cart the first day just passed by on his golf cart. Oh.